world from a secret, mythical land full of wonder and possibility. Had I really discovered a prehistoric print? Would it still be there next time I went to look for it? I scanned the horizon to see where the singing might have come from, but the beach was empty, and there was nothing except shingles stretching all the way to Ocean Drive. Even the fishermen who sometimes sat on the pier weren't here today. The wind swooped through this barren landscape, like a looter swiping the spoils from a deserted battleground. It lifted a couple of empty tins and threw them against the bins of the lobster shack, causing a sudden rattle that startled me. Then it grabbed an old fishing net and danced with it around the upturned boat before tiring and clearing itself a space to sleep among the reeds. My breath escaped in white puffs. It would be Easter soon, even though it still felt like January. The singing soared again, carried by the crash of the waves and the cries of the gulls. I was drawn to it and filled with an odd warmth. As I listened, it seemed to be coming from further inland, near the old upturned train carriage on the edge of the marshes, a remnant of the disused railway line that ran along the shore. I started running, which was stupid, of course. Running through shingle is nearly impossible, and I had to dig myself out with every step. The area we live in has been described by nature experts as England's version of the Sahara Desert because of the sand and shingle stretching for miles to the sea. On a clear evening at sunset, the ground has a reddish tinge, and I feel like I'm walking on the surface of Mars. When I was younger, Dad and I used to pretend that it was Mars, and that the nuclear power station in the distance was the first living unit which the early settlers had made their home. It had titanium walls, waterbeds, and robots who served meals. When the red dust storms started, you had to hope that you would make it back to the unit. Sometimes I pretended a little too much, and when the wind started up, I'd race home with my hands over my eyes. Then Dad would grab me round the waist and lift me over our front porch, shouting, "We made it! The intrepid explorer is home!" That's what he always called me, and it was only when I was 7 or 8 that I admitted I didn't know what intrepid meant. Dad explained that it is somebody who is bold and fearless, and I remembered being pleased. From then on, I always tried to be intrepid. When I finally made it to the train carriage, the singing had stopped, and there was nobody around. A chill went through me. It was weirdly quiet. Mum always walked carefully past the carriages. She believed they were haunted by the ghosts of drivers who'd met with misfortune on the railways. I knew they were just lumps of metal junk, which the boys in the year above liked to hang out in over the summer. But today, I had a strong sense that there was someone else here. I checked the marshes and even walked round the empty shack that used to be an ice cream shop. Nobody. Peering through the murky window, my heart hammered. Dust motes danced in the faint light coming in through the glass opposite. All I could see were rolled-up fishing nets and a couple of empty buckets. I decided to give up and go home. My head was full of the print, as well as the singing, and I allowed my feet to think for me. I found myself walking in the direction of Ocean Drive, which used to be home, but wasn't anymore. A new family had moved in, and someone else had my bedroom with its out-of-this-world sea view. If I shut my eyes, I could still see the waves lapping gently on the shore and hear Dad's voice behind me. If you squint, you can just see France. My stomach clenched, and I tried to brush the memory away as I walked towards the small green deck house, which is our new home. It's a poor substitute for 9 Ocean Drive. For a start, it only has 1 floor, is further inland, and the small sliver of sea that can be glimpsed from the living room window is obstructed by other houses. When Mum said that we had to sell up, I thought we might at least move somewhere new, maybe to a town or to Scotland where